Burt Lancaster names the most evil actors in Golden Age of Hollywood, and you will not believe the number 7 names that he mentioned.
Burton Stephen Lancaster came into this world on November 2, 1913, in the busy streets of Manhattan, New York City. He would grow up to become one of the biggest movie stars during Hollywood's greatest time period. His childhood took place in East Harlem, where his family lived a simple working life. His dad worked for the post office, while his mom stayed home to take care of the family. They were Irish Americans who stuck together through thick and thin. Even as a young boy, Burt showed he was different from other kids. He was strong, independent, and had a special way about him that made people notice. These qualities would help him later when he became famous. He went to DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx, where he did well in sports. His athletic abilities were so good that he got a scholarship to New York University, where he played basketball and did gymnastics. Before Burt became a movie star, he had a very different job that most people don't know about. In his 20s, he joined a traveling circus called the K Brothers Circus. He worked as an acrobat, doing dangerous stunts high above the ground. He teamed up with his good friend Nick Cravat, and together they traveled all over the country entertaining people. This circus work was very important for Burt's future career. It made him strong and taught him how to do his own dangerous scenes in movies later. It also taught him discipline and how to perform in front of crowds. The circus gave him confidence and presence that would make him stand out when he started acting. When World War II started, Burt joined the United States Army. He served in a special unit that entertained soldiers to keep their spirits up during the hard times of war. This experience with performing for troops helped him realize he might be good at acting. After the war ended, people encouraged him to try acting as a real career. His big break came in 1946 when he got a role in a movie called The Killers. This was a dark crime movie where he played a character called the Swede, who was doomed to die. The movie made people notice him right away. With his strong build, bright blue eyes, and powerful way of acting, he quickly became famous. During the late 1940s and 1950s, Burt became one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But he didn't want to just be known as a good-looking action hero. He chose many different types of roles to show how well he could act. He appeared in crime movies, adventure films, serious dramas, and personal character studies. One of his most famous performances was in Elmer Gantry in 1960, where he played a traveling preacher. This role won him an Academy Award, which is the highest honor an actor can receive. He also starred in many other well-known movies, like From Here to Eternity in 1953, where he had a famous romantic scene on the beach with actress Deborah Kerr. Other important films included The Sweet Smell of Success, Birdman of Alcatraz, Judgment at Nuremberg, Atlantic City, and Local Hero. Burt wasn't just an actor. He also worked as a movie producer. He started his own company called Hecht Lancaster, which was one of the first independent production companies in Hollywood. Through this company, he helped make several groundbreaking films. One of the most important was Marty in 1955, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture. This movie helped change how Hollywood made films, focusing more on real characters and stories instead of just spectacle. He used his power in Hollywood to support important social causes. He fought against censorship and worked to promote equality between different races. This was brave during a time when many people in Hollywood were afraid to speak out about these issues. Away from the cameras, Burt was known for having strong moral principles. He spoke out for civil rights and was one of the early critics of the House Un-American Activities Committee, which was investigating people in Hollywood for their political beliefs. He supported liberal political causes throughout his life. He marched alongside Martin Luther King in civil rights protests and spoke out against the Vietnam War. Even though he was a private person, other actors and filmmakers respected him for his intelligence, professionalism, and commitment to doing what he thought was right. Even as he got older, Burt continued to take on challenging roles that showed his mature acting skills. His performance in Atlantic City when he was 76 years old earned him another Academy Award nomination. He also appeared in Field of Dreams in 1989, where he played the kind character Moonlight Graham, introducing himself to a whole new generation of movie fans. Burt's personal life was complex, with 3 marriages that each played important roles in his life story. His first marriage was to June Ernst in 1935. She was a trapeze artist he met during his circus days. They shared a love of physical performance and entertainment. However, as his movie career took off in the 1940s, their lives went in different directions. The pressures of fame and constant travel put stress on their relationship. They stayed together for more than 10 years, but separated in 1946. They had no children together. Later, in 1946, Burt married Norma Anderson. This marriage lasted the longest and was the most important for his family life. Norma helped keep his life stable during the height of his fame. They had 5 children together: James, William, Susan, Joanna, and Sile. Burt loved his children deeply, even though his busy career often kept him away from home. Their marriage lasted over 20 years and included some of the most important moments of his career, including his Academy Award win. However, the marriage had problems. Burt had affairs with other women, was often away filming movies, and became emotionally distant. These problems led to their divorce in 1969. Even after the divorce, Norma remained important in his life as the mother of his children. Burt didn't marry again until much later in life. In 1990, he married Susan Martin, who was much younger than him. She provided companionship during his final years. Their relationship was short because of Burt's failing health, but it was warm and caring. Susan was with him through his battles with heart disease and the effects of a serious stroke he had in 1990, just months after they married. She stayed with him until he died in 1994, giving him care and emotional support during his last years. Beyond his marriages, Burt had several famous romantic relationships that got attention in Hollywood. One of the most talked about was with British actress Deborah Kerr during the filming of From Here to Eternity in 1953. Their chemistry on screen was electric, especially in the famous beach scene that became one of the most romantic moments in movie history. Off-screen, their relationship was reportedly just as passionate, even though both were married to other people at the time. They kept their affair secret, but it was said to be emotionally intense and left a lasting impression on both actors. Burt was also rumored to have had a romantic relationship with actress Joan Blondell, a popular star from the 1930s and 1940s, known for her wit and charm. While their relationship was never publicly confirmed in detail, they were often seen together at Hollywood events, which made people speculate about a deeper connection. Another widely reported affair was with Shelley Winters, an outspoken actress known for her own string of Hollywood romances. Winters, who was never shy about discussing her past relationships, hinted in her autobiography about a relationship with Burt, describing him as intense, passionate, and sometimes emotionally distant, qualities that seemed to characterize many of his personal relationships. According to some accounts, during the later years of his life, Burt supposedly wrote a secret memoir that was never published. In this alleged book, he claimed to reveal the dark sides of many famous Hollywood stars from his era. Whether this memoir actually exists or is just a rumor remains unknown, but the supposed contents painted many beloved stars in a negative light. In this alleged memoir, Burt supposedly described Kirk Douglas, his frequent co-star, as ruthlessly ambitious and willing to destroy others to get ahead. He allegedly called Natalie Wood a master manipulator who used her perceived vulnerability to control powerful men. Mickey Rooney was supposedly described as cruel behind his cheerful public image, particularly toward younger actors and women. The alleged memoir supposedly included harsh words about Elizabeth Taylor, calling her a dramatic force who could turn entire movie sets into battlegrounds. Spencer Tracy was allegedly described as an unpredictable and cruel person whose alcoholism led to rage and abuse of coworkers. Perhaps most shocking was the supposed inclusion of James Stewart, America's sweetheart, who was allegedly described as cold and judgmental in private. Other stars supposedly criticized in this alleged memoir included Marilyn Monroe, who is allegedly described as a destructive force whose addictions and insecurities drained everyone around.
Errol Flynn was supposedly called a charming sociopath, while Bing Crosby was allegedly described as cruelly cold, especially toward his children. The memoir supposedly also criticized Gary Crosby, Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, Joan Crawford, and Lucille Ball. Whether these allegations were true, exaggerated, or completely made up by a bitter actor is impossible to know. The memoir was never published during Burt's lifetime, and if it exists, it remains hidden somewhere. But the supposed revelations would certainly shock people who remember these stars fondly. In his later years, Burt's once powerful physical presence began to fade due to serious health problems. The man who had been known for his athletic build and energetic performances started suffering from several medical conditions that slowly weakened him. One of his most serious health challenges was atherosclerosis, a condition where arteries become hard and narrow due to plaque buildup. This dangerous condition restricts blood flow and increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. For Burt, it became a life-threatening problem that led to 2 minor heart attacks, which served as serious warnings about his cardiovascular health. In 1983, his health reached a critical point when he needed emergency quadruple coronary artery bypass surgery. This major operation involved grafting arteries or veins to bypass blocked coronary arteries, improving blood flow to his heart, and preventing a potentially fatal cardiac event. The surgery was extensive and showed how severe his condition had become. While he survived and initially seemed to recover well, the ordeal took a toll on his overall strength. Despite surviving this major surgery, Burt's health continued to get worse throughout the 1980s. In 1990, he suffered a devastating stroke that changed his life forever. The stroke left him partially paralyzed, limiting his ability to move around and ending his independence. Even more tragically for a man whose voice had captivated audiences in films like From Here to Eternity and Elmer Gantry, the stroke also took away his ability to speak clearly. The loss of speech was particularly cruel for a talented actor who had relied not only on his physical presence, but also on his expressive voice to bring characters to life. After the stroke, Burt withdrew almost completely from public life, no longer able to engage in the social or professional activities he had once embraced so fully. He spent his remaining years in relative isolation, under the care of family members and medical professionals. On October 20, 1994, Burt Lancaster's extraordinary life came to an end. He passed away peacefully in his apartment in Century City, a neighborhood on the west side of Los Angeles known for its connection to the film industry he had helped shape for decades. The cause of death was his third and final heart attack, the culmination of his long battle against heart disease. He was 80 years old. News of his death brought widespread sadness in Hollywood and among movie fans around the world. People remembered not only his vast contributions to cinema, but also the fierce energy and intensity he brought to every performance. Though his latter years were marked by suffering and silence, Burt Lancaster's legacy continues as one of the towering figures of classic American film. His life story represents the golden age of Hollywood, a time when stars were larger than life, when movies were made with passion and artistry, and when actors could become cultural icons who influenced society beyond entertainment. From his humble beginnings in East Harlem to his rise as one of Hollywood's most respected leading men, Burt Lancaster's journey embodies the American dream of success through talent, hard work, and determination. Today, film students and movie lovers still study his performances, marveling at his ability to bring depth and authenticity to every role. His influence on acting and filmmaking continues to inspire new generations of performers and filmmakers. Whether playing a doomed criminal in The Killers, a passionate preacher in Elmer Gantry, or a kind baseball player in Field of Dreams, Burt Lancaster brought something special to every character he portrayed. His commitment to social justice and his willingness to use his fame to fight for what he believed was right also set an example for actors who came after him. In an era when many celebrities stayed silent on political issues, Burt spoke out for civil rights and against injustice, showing that fame could be used as a force for positive change. The story of Burt Lancaster reminds us that behind every great performance is a real person with struggles, triumphs, and complexities. His life was not perfect. He had failed marriages, health problems, and personal challenges, but his dedication to his craft and his principles made him a true Hollywood legend whose impact on cinema will never be forgotten.